Place in state in mixed doubles right here. Something to be proud of. Absolutely something to be proud of. And Brady, I know we are glad that you're here tonight, and I know that you're proud of those medals you've won, but more than those medals, it's the God you serve and your Savior. So let's hear from you.
How's it going? Alright, so I'm here to give my testimony, so here we go. My life before I met Jesus was pretty hard. When I was 2, my parents got a divorce, and I would spend 1 week at my mom's house, 1 week at my dad's house. That stunk because I never really had a home. I would go to school, and my friends would just say, "Hey, I'm going to my house after school," and I would respond with, "Yeah, I'm going to my dad's house this week," or "I'm going to my mom's house." And it was like that for about 8 years. But that soon became the least of my worries. When I turned 10, my dad was diagnosed with stomach cancer. And I remember that day like it was yesterday. Me and him were going to get to spend the weekend together for the first time since he had gotten remarried to his new wife, Jenny. And I was excited. I mean, I was 10 years old. We were going to play video games all weekend. So, I mean, it didn't get much better than that. He just had one doctor's appointment. And he came home from that doctor's appointment, and I could tell something was wrong. But I was so excited, I just ran up to him. I said, "You ready to have some fun?" And he looked down at me, and he's like, "Not now, son." And then I watched him walk over to his chair and call Jenny. And I just watched him, and he started to cry. And it scared me, because A, this was my dad, and B, he was 6'5", 420 pounds, and he's bawling his eyes out. And, I mean, it just terrified me. And after that, after he hung up, he told me what was up, and I knew my life would be changed forever. We started surgeries immediately. In his first surgery, half of his stomach was removed, and that was really supposed to fix all of our problems, but it didn't. We had a couple minor surgeries after that, but the next big thing was chemo. And that was, again, supposed to fix all of our problems, but it didn't. A couple more minor surgeries. It was about 1.5 years, I'd say, after this all started. And we had what I refer to as the big surgery. In this surgery, they were going to take out the rest of his stomach, his esophagus, and just pull up his small intestine, and that would function as all three. And they told us there's a 94% chance that you're going to make it through, that he's going to make it through. Well, when you're the family, all you hear is there's a 6% chance that he's not going to make it through. And so me, along with family and friends, sat in a waiting room for 15 hours, knowing that there was a 6% chance that he wasn't going to wake up. But he woke up, so, I mean, that was good. And life went back to normal for about 6 months, and it was great. We thought we had beat cancer. No one ever does that, but we did it, we felt like. And he went in for a 6-month check-in, and they gave him the worst news that he could possibly have. The cancer was back. It spread to his bones, and they told him, you can't win. And they gave him 6 to 12 months to live. And at this point in my life, I was very angry with God. I asked him questions like, why me? Why do I have to go through this? Why does it have to be my dad? And I just started to push him away. And I went down a path that I did not need to be going down. I distanced myself between my Christian friends. I started disobeying my parents regularly, used awful, awful language. I even tried to stop going to church, but thankfully my mom made me keep going. So, but just those last 12 months, you can't describe it. I sat there and watched my dad die. He would get so sick sometimes that he couldn't walk, or if he could walk, wasn't very far, couldn't eat sometimes. He had lost over 200 pounds throughout all this. And, I mean, it was just awful, but those last 5 days were the hardest 5 days I'll ever have to go through again, and I have no doubt about it. Because my dad was suffering. And every breath was a struggle. I think he opened his eyes maybe one time. And that one time he did open his eyes, I had to look at him and say, Dad, it's okay. It's time for you to go. And that might sound awful, but he was suffering, and none of us wanted to watch it anymore, and he didn't want to feel it anymore. But it is at that point that I knew, God, I need you back. I can't do this on my own. And I prayed to him. I said, Lord, just please, 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 please make him stop suffering. And he did. The next day I got out of my chair and I went and held his hand, and 5 seconds later he took his final breath. And at first, of course I was shell-shocked because I'd saw my dad alive for the last time ever. But the next day I was full of relief because I knew he was in a better place. And after that, I started going back to church because I wanted to. I reconnected with my Christian friends, and I started listening to what the preacher had to say, and I realized that my dad's death wasn't God's fault at all. And he was with me through it all. Even when I tried to push him away, he was still there. And, there's nothing that can describe that. And guys, it's still difficult because, I don't have a dad. But I have the best father of all. And he wants to be y'all's father too. And I realize that not everyone here is dealing with the loss of a family member. It might be school, friends, or even something like drugs or alcohol. But Jesus is still the answer. And just one more thing. If you came here expecting this awesome band to change your life, you're going to leave here disappointed. If you came here wanting this awesome speaker back here to change your life, you're going to leave here disappointed. Even if you came here hoping all this fields of faith could change your life, you're going to leave here disappointed. But if you came here hoping God can change your life, and if you walk down in this field knowing that God can change your life, you're going to leave here a new person. Thank you.